what first sparked your commitment to environmental work?
I think being connected with the environment is something that has really become more in the public zeitgeist in the last like 25 years or so. When I was raising my two kids, I remember in the early 90s, I was delivered a recycling bin to my house. And I was like, this is interesting. And I was raised in New York and LA, so not a lot of awareness about the respect of our planet. There was other stuff going around, but that was not it. But when I got this bin and they told me I could put cans and paper, and I was so excited. And at that time, everybody got a daily newspaper because that's what you did. So I remember I'm like, okay, we're gonna put the newspaper in here. We're gonna put our cans, our bottles, and it was small. It was just like a little bin. And I remember stacking it up. And at that point, you had to like wrap your newspapers with like twine. And so we did that, we put it out, and I couldn't believe what that meant. And that kind of began my curiosity as to what difference is that making? And then I was actually invited to a luncheon in 1999 by the mother of one of my son's friends. And she said, "You need to come to this with me. It's so interesting." And it was the Environmental Media Awards. And they had just been going on for 9 years. And it was a luncheon. And I remember sitting there and they talked about the mission of bringing environmental education and motivation through the entertainment industry. And like, it was like a light bulb hit me. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most important thing in the world. And I started asking a million questions to this person who was sitting next to me, who I had no idea who he was. And he asked me to go to lunch with him later that week. And he asked me to come run the organization. Yeah, crazy. And I said yes. Again, just it just moved me. I just thought as a mother, which has always informed my choices, and now I'm a grandmother. I've got five grandkids. And so for me, it's always about the next generation and what we're doing to preserve our planet and our resources. So bottom line is I go there in the beginning of 2000 and it was sort of going to close and there wasn't a lot of board and there wasn't any money. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to try because this is the most important thing in the world. Because it was like I understood my path and I didn't know what position I would take on that or what I could do to help, but I just knew that as a parent, this is what I needed to do for the future. So that sort of was the beginning.
When did you realize that media and entertainment could be powerful tools for driving real climate action?
I went to film school. I went to USC Film School, and I was it was always something that I had a passion for, storytelling. I was always a big reader. I loved films. I would go see, multiple films a week, and then when I was in film school, I'd be like watching movies all day and like thinking about story. And so I ended up being a film journalist for a while, had my kids young, became a stay-at-home mom for a while. But I've always had this extreme passion for storytelling. And when I heard that this that EMA, our organization, our job was to create stories to educate, I thought, I totally get this. I know how to do this. Also, I realized that when I began in the environmental movement, I had not heard about it in mainstream media. I was not getting these messages. And I was, going to the theaters. I would see maybe a PSA every so often, but it wasn't educational. It was just like, it was the old polar bear story. Like polar bears are going away, or look at these animals and they're not going to be here anymore. But there was no direct solution. And so I'm very solution oriented. I don't like to do things that are just open ended. And I thought for us, weaving storylines and also working with talent and with the media, for me, that is education. And I think that again, you've got so much pop culture. Pop culture is everything. I mean, then there was no internet even. I mean, not there was no, I mean, social media. So people were getting their information from entertainment shows, from all of the weeklies. And my thought was, if we can get celebrities who are getting covered anyway to be role modeling sustainable actions, then we're going to hit something and something is going to matter. And it's going to resonate and they're going to want to emulate them because if they're wearing their fashions and they're wearing their hairstyles, they'll also be living a more sustainable lifestyle. So that's kind of how my thinking went. And I think that's everything. And with social media, it's really everything in the good, the bad, and all that other stuff. But we want to be the good and we want to be the ones who are positive about the future, positive about individual action with solutions to empower the people who are watching and make that into a cool thing because that's essential. And if you're not getting the younger demographic who wants to be trending and chic and cool and do what the celebrities do that they admire, then you're losing the generation that's really going to start having children and start parenting. And so that's the motivation.
Yeah, as you were speaking, I was just thinking the whole time that we are both of our organizations are so aligned because one of Arnold's main things is he always says is that the message it really matters how you communicate to the people.
Yeah,
People don't really care when you say the word fossil fuels, for example, like
yeah.
they need to focus on one thing, which is why we've been saying terminate pollution for years now, because that's something, everyone knows what pollution is and it's straight to the point and it also ties in Arnold. It's yeah, completely agree with you with also the doom
Also
and
being
gloom stuff.
positive. Being
Yeah,
positive is so important. And I know Arnold is always really positive, and
yeah,
that's something that I so relate to because if you are telling people that something is hopeless or you're angry or all those other things that a lot of that is going on online right now, and even in some films, the negative films that like the world is ending, that's not going to help. What's going to help is that we can make changes that are going to lead to a healthier life, less pollution, and solutions for the way we live, for products, for companies, for legislation, for everything. But again, in a way that's empowering, not in a way that is criticizing or doomsday. And so for us, that's everything.
completely agree. We are so aligned on this. Yeah, that's a main focus of our summit as well. I mean, fear doesn't do anything. So, since becoming CEO of the Environmental Media Association, you've helped turn sustainability into something visible and aspirational in Hollywood. How did you and EMA do that?
Um, I think that becoming educational and aspirational is is looking at all the different things that you want to address. And so we began with a mission of incorporating storylines into TV and film content. When I took over the organization, we had a big focus as well as doing that on actual celebrity role models. That's really important and making sure that we hit a younger demographic. I created a young Hollywood board years and years ago where we got all of the young not they weren't influencers then, they were actors or musicians. But being able to speak this language in a positive and encouraging and educational way. In 2003, I realized that we were doing all of this communication to teach the public, but our industry was not addressing this at all. The sound stages and the studios and the production houses were doing nothing about sustainability, even the ones who were telling sustainable stories, interestingly. So I was on a set one day and I looked around and I thought, oh my God, we're not even recycling. This is so embarrassing. And so I called my board chair and I said, we're terrible. We're telling all these stories, but our industry is doing nothing behind the scenes. We need to create an EMA Green Seal for production. And That was 2003. There weren't even sustainability departments in the studios yet, or kind of anywhere. And we created, it began with like 10 things that you can do that the studio won't get mad at you about. Literally, like they were still messengering one page of a change to people's houses at that time. Seriously. Like the things they were doing is wild. You would never even imagine. Not recycled paper, new scripts every 2 seconds, throwing them in the trash can. So we came up with basic things, and now we are the global standard for sustainable production. And so that is global and many, all over. And they use the EMA Green Seal guidelines, and they are very extensive, obviously. And we want carbon reduction, we want waste reduction, water reduction, but we address everything, including craft services and what kind of food is being offered, and just everything. And a lot of energy, obviously, a lot of, we're addressing pollution in a really big way. But it is just the standard. People are given these guidelines before they begin production everywhere. And then we have a big Emma Green Seal program at the Emma Awards that we do in October. We give out literally like 300 to 400 a year. Like it's amazing. It started out with like four. And now it's everywhere. So to me, it's a completely, circular, full approach to what we're trying to teach. We've also worked with hospitality companies, and we've created an Emma Green Seal for hotels because it's not that hard. Again, we want the experience to be lovely, but we want you to understand that the cleaning products that are used in the back of the house are non-toxic, and you are offered correct kind of, healthy whole foods, and just the whole experience. And even if the guests don't know, we're so happy that they're having a healthier experience, because that's really kind of what the bottom line is. And we've also worked with some headquarters, and it's great. I mean, we want to do more of that, because to me that's so wonderful, because the difference between our Emma Green Seal and any other industry seals is that we then promote it through Hollywood. So we will then, if you get our Emma Green Seal, you've got our Hollywood, communication machine. And we have celebrities saying, congratulations to, X, Y, and Z in this production, and Shrinking, the TV show just got it. And they're all excited about it, which then motivates their fans.
Wow, very admirable. This green seal is so genius.
It's an
Really.
Honestly, I can't believe I made it up.
It really is so genius because people like crave awards and recognition, and you
I
really
know.
tapped into like the subconscious.
It was
So
so funny because in the beginning of the Emma Green Seal, we would give physical ones, and now obviously they're digital and they're on credits, but we would frame the Green Seals, and the different studios would compete to see who got more, because they would then hang it up in the hallway. And
that's
it was like perfect,
yeah. Wow.
so great.
Looking back over the past 2 decades, what's one major shift you've seen in how the entertainment industry approaches sustainability, and where do you think more progress is still needed?
I think that in the very beginning, people were doing things like Day After Tomorrow and films that were just like, oh my God, the world is ending. Um, and then it's been a really slow go to get positive stories, because there was like eco activists, like it was terrible. Then there was a little shift about 10, 15 years ago where people were more positive and solution oriented. I'm afraid it slipped back a bit. And I think that it's the internet it's social media who is sort of like all evil for any conspiracy stuff. And the people who are on there who call themselves activists are really being very negative. And I think Hollywood is taking a cue from that and saying, well, we want to tell stories that shock people, that scare people. And then you do have the better stories where you've got characters who are environmentally really heroes, and they shine, and that's beautiful. For me, everything that we do, I think that we need to shift back. And I think that we need to be on the side of positive storytelling. I think that with the EMA Green Seal at studios and with independent films using that, and then the benefit of if you are a campus anywhere in the world and you have sustainability requirements there, that becomes a really exciting thing for productions to go to. So I think for that, it's been huge leaps because that is sort of a demand now for sustainability and then wanting to get the credit. So they put it on the credits. We do social about it. We do articles about it. They are proud of it. They do their own press about it. That's amazing. I think the storytelling, because of the negative spin on social media and sort of the blaming stuff, is getting a little bit lost. You're finding some films that are angry and the world's going to end and negative, which I don't think does any good. I think that there are definitely more environmental heroes or advocates or people who just live like that within storytelling on both TV and film. You get these great characters and it's matter of fact. And I think that's very powerful. So I think there's been more of that, but I'm not so happy about slipping in all this negative stuff, which is why, like, our social, always educational and inspiring, always positive, always, here's what you can do. You can make a difference. And that everybody wants that. And it's also very much, I think, as I referenced before, we're very connected to family. And I think that reaching young parents is the most important thing you can do because they're starting. Everybody has good intentions. And you want to keep your young family safe, and you want to make sure everything in the house is safe. And so I think targeting that, which there's some really great kids programming, that the kids programming is really good. And that just becomes part of it. And that over the last about, I would say, like 15 years, sustainability and being good stewards of the earth is all part of children's TV and film. But it's the adults that want the sensationalism, and that's what I'm sort of campaigning against.
Fantastic. Thank you. Completely agree with you on the positive. You know what? Actually, quick anecdote. So sorry. While you were talking about it, I couldn't stop thinking about 21 Jump Street. And was it either James Franco or Dave Franco? He was meant to play like this jock, and then all of a sudden he starts talking about like being sustainable, and then as a jock, he goes, "What? Are you not sustainable? Like you're weird for that."
Yeah.
And it was such a
Yes.
culturally like great moment. Also, so many memes were made about that. And yes, anyway,
Right.
sorry, quick little
In fact, it
anecdote.
was up for our
Yeah,
award that year for
yeah,
feature, and I don't
yeah,
remember whether it won or not, but it was definitely a nominee because of that. We were like,
yeah.
thank you. You did
Yes.
that.
And
Yeah.
it slipped so organically in there. It was, I mean, it was such a great
And
joke and it was perfect. But
and
anyway,
that's the best way.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, okay, final question. So, um, as climate urgency grows, what role do you believe media and storytelling will play in shaping the future? And what gives you hope about where this work is heading?
I mean, I think that my biggest hope about where sustainable practices are heading is that companies are making money at it. And so they are selling more sustainable, more healthy, less toxic. They're doing well. And if you look at the beauty industry and the food industry and obviously the auto industry, all of those huge industries are the cleaning product industry. You have choices. And I think that is all because of the influence of the entertainment industry, and that's leaked into the social media world because celebrities are very excited to promote their sustainable lifestyle, but their sustainable lifestyle has to be attached to products. And so if those products do well, the companies keep making that. And there's been a huge shift in what you're able to buy. I mean, you can go anywhere and get clean anything. And years ago, you couldn't at all. I mean, even in Whole Foods, there was not all organic stuff. And I remember when, you used to go to grocery stores and there was like this one little aisle and they put like an organic hand lotion with the food. Like it was just all there because that was it. They were done. That was the only healthy stuff. So now this has become into our mainstream. So the big companies that a lot of people are angry at have made the shift. Just I don't care why. They are making more money doing it. They're making more money doing it. We are better off. And the driver is always the entertainment industry. What you're seeing on camera, whether you're seeing it in a film, TV, whether you're seeing it online, YouTube, whatever you're doing, or on social media, when you're seeing practices of celebrities and they're reaching for a healthier option, reading labels, understanding what you're bringing into your home, that is shifting everything. And so I am really hopeful. And I'm hopeful because the reality is the financial world, drives the economy. And so we want to make the good guys who are making this stuff more successful. I mean, I think that after 26 years of doing this, I'm very proud of the EMA Green Seal. I think that had I not looked at a dirty trash can on a set, maybe this wouldn't happen for a while. But I think that making sets and studios and campuses sustainable is huge. And really the positive, hopeful, empowering messaging that we do, I think that that's so unique and it's so important for the future. And again, as a grandmother of five, that's all I want for them. And if I was able to make my family as having sustainability a natural course of life, I don't see any reason why everybody can't do that as well. It's just a matter of being a little more conscious and being careful and just knowing what you're bringing into the home. And I think that is the Native American culture where you're looking ahead for 7 generations is so beautiful. And I think that's something that we all need to do. So I'm hoping that that is my legacy.